I got my idea for Fascination because I enjoy quilts, though I don't make quilts. I form my quilts on canvas. This could be considered a patchwork quilt made of 400 squares sewn either by hand together or sewn on a machine using fabric in place of thread. I don't sew, so I use thread. And some of my other projects too, like Season is a patchwork. Adagio could be considered a patchwork. Okay came from a came from a quilting idea. There's 4 quadrants and there's 100 squares to stitch in each quadrant, so that picks 400. But I only had to design 100 of them. And then I got even a brainier idea that they could be different versions on a theme, so there's actually 3 options. You can stitch it 3 different ways. No, I just thought it would be a very, a nice variation for people so that everybody who does Fascination doesn't turn out with the same one. I'm going to show you one of the stitches, stitch 40, so that you will have an idea of how the book works. Well, first you need an away knot. An away knot is a knot that is ends up on the front of the canvas, far enough away from where you're going to start, where it can be woven into the stitch on the back when it's complete. So if I'm going to come up in the center here, I want this away knot someplace far out of the way. That's it right there. Now that'll be cut away later. In beginning stitch 40, if you notice, there are numbers and arrows. The numbers tell you the order the stitch is made, and the arrow tells you what direction to go in. So I'm going to find this little hole right here, and I'm going to count up 1, 2, and I'm going to go to the left 1. I go over 2 threads, then the next stitch is identical. You just drop down 1 hole, 1 thread, and the next one is over 4 threads. The length of one of these threads should be enough to complete the stitch. Okay, I've now completed 1, 2, 3, 4, and stitch number 5 is just being finished up now. Stitch number 6 is down here. So you need to count from the center underneath stitch 5, 2 canvas threads. 1, 2. 1, 2. So we're going to count down. 1, 2. Now this goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. Actually, it's over 2. Now completed stitch 17. So now we're going to go to 18. Come up in a shared hole, go over 2 and count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now finished stitch 23. Stitch 24 starts over here, and you've come down over there. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 2 from where I went down. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And over 2. 1, 2. This is where the first stitch is going to be. And it's up 3 and over 1. Now it's up 4 over 2 again. And you need 5 of them. The last one. Okay, we've just now finished stitch 29 right here. And we're going to bring the needle down to the Smyrna crosses, stitch 30. So I'm over here, I'm going to count down 2. 1, 2, which brings me here. And I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the Smyrna, you do the cross stitch first, over 2 canvas threads, and then you do the upright, and when you do the last crossover, I like to go the opposite direction. If I'm going to be stitching this way, I'm going to cross it this way, because then it'll wrap around the back of the canvas and it makes it a nicer stitch. All right, that's stitch 33. 34 is a long stitch. Okay, this is stitch 34. I'm bringing it up for stitch 35. And I carry my numbering a lot further than many other designers, because you know, all of a sudden they stop the numbering and then you don't know where to go. So I'm over numbered generally. All right, I've just finished stitch 36, and now I'm going to do the Smyrna cross. That's the cross stitch. Do the upright, and then the last one, come up on the right side and cross down to the left. Okay, so now we just finished stitch number 40, and you can see the arrow's going the way I told you to stitch it. Now we have to jump all the way up, so you're going to go underneath what you've already stitched. Come up to do the Smyrna, making your cross first. Do the upright, and cross from left to right. You have now completed stitch 40. When you buy this book, you get a color copy of the cover. This is the model that I stitched. You get the text that gives you the directions on how to stitch it. You have 100 well-charted pattern stitches, and you have a copy of 2 different ways you can do it, but they're in black and white. Option 2 and option 3.